Hello and welcome in to day number 2 of the Shannon Speed Series, or the Challange Australia, powered by AWS. Hello and welcome in here to the beautiful heart of where we're racing this weekend, being Phillip Island. And what a race we saw yesterday. The number 1 Audi, Brock Feeney, crossed the line first, alongside his teammate Schumacher, who ended up taking that one home. Brad Schumacher put that one. Got a good start, handed over to Brock Feeney, and inevitably took the win. Taking around your circuit here, so 5.412 kilometers of tarmac racing this weekend. And we go from F1 to a bit of GT3 racing. Same tyres, different cars, though. So this should be a very, very interesting race, if I do say so myself. 60 minutes plus 1 lap, if of course needed, throughout this race. Of course, racing this weekend at Phillip Island. And what a weekend this is going to be. What a race this is going to be. If it was anything like yesterday's race, we're in for an absolute cracker here. On pole position, though, it is the Move My Wheels by Tagani Motorsport 66 Mercedes AMG. Of course, starting the car is Paul Lucchini, who starts. It'll be Jaden Ojeda starting the car, since the bronze driver, of course, qualified. So Jaden Ojeda will, of course, be starting that car. Alongside him is the ARGT 26 car of Jackson Evans, the gold-rated driver in that car. And then the guy by Valmont Racing by Tagani Motorsport, starting in position 3, of course, starting that car is Brendan Leach as well. As the drivers now set off on the formation lap as we get ready for 60 minutes plus, of course, 1 lap of racing here at the beautiful Phillip Island circuit. We'll run through the grid in full in just a few moments' time, but a big name a bit further back down the grid, of course, Brock Feeney and Brad Schumacher. Expect them to make their way through the grid. Of course, in this race, 1 compulsory pit stop will be done, and the pit window will open after lap 1. We did see a few safety cars yesterday, which put a few drivers in the in a right position for pit stops as well. Of course, the only real pit stop, the only thing you have to do within the pit stop is change drivers. So throughout that one, that is the one compulsory thing you have to do throughout the pit stop. Of course, you can also bleed tyre pressures if you would like, if the tyre pressure is getting a bit too high on the car. But yeah, we'll run through the grid in just a few moments' time, and as I say that, I think we might actually end up running through the grid right now. Jaden Ojeda starting position 1 over Jackson Evans, Brendan Leach, William Davidson, Brock Feeney in position 5. Watch out for him. Ryan Wood, Josh Buchan, Thomas Randall, Oscar Target, Valentino Stuti. And leading in the Trophy Cup, it is Paul Stokel over Luke Hulden lying alongside him. So watch out for Luke Hulden in that Porsche AED consulting by Tagani, followed by Tony D'Alberto, Josh Hunt, and Alex Gardner in position 15 in this one. So the drivers now making their way through and lining 2 by 2 as we get ready for the second race of 2026 in the GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS for 2026. Should be a very, very interesting race, if I do say so myself. As now the drivers line 2 by 2. Down the front straight they will go. And we're about to get ready for race start. Race control will be keeping an eager eye on the drivers. GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. Here at Phillip Island, they run 2 by 2 as they make their run down towards Lukey Heights. Down towards Lukey Heights and down into turn 10, the hairpin on the circuit. The second of the hairpins. And now the drivers will run 2 by 2 all the way down towards the line. Race control car, BMW safety car, makes its way back towards pit road. And we will get racing underway here from Phillip Island. This is going to be absolutely spectacular. Let's get ready for some amazing racing. 2 by 2, the 66 Mercedes AMG lining up alongside Jackson Evans. Jaden Ojeda versus Jackson Evans, the two Super 2 pros back in the old days lights on the gantry, and for the second time in 2026, GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS, is go, lights out, and we're go, 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 go for the second time in 2026. Good start, Jaden Ojeda, Jackson Evans, side by side towards turn number 1. Jaden Ojeda will swoop right around the outside and will take the lead towards turn 1. 2 cars spearing off the road and into the gravel. Goes one of the Audis. Is that Brock Feeney? No, that is Ryan Wood in the 88 Audi. Round the outside now and lock contact. And around goes the 15 car that is unfortunately made contact. That is Ben Hunt in the McLaren that has made contact and is unfortunately, or what will be, out of this race. It's Will Davidson and Ryan Wood that have made contact with each other. So not a good start there. 53 minutes to go left in this one. Jaden Ojeda leads 8-10 out in front over Evans, Leach, Feeney. Watch out for him who will make his way through the grid along with Randall, Astuti, Target, Talberto, Gardner, Wood, Davidson, Yilden. Of course, Gardner leading in the Trophy Cup class. Safety car deployed for the second time this weekend in consecutive races. Yeah, it was very much a hectic start with Jaden Ojeda and Evans and their looks of Ford Recovery crew removing the Ben Hunt car away from the scene of the crime. But certainly not the start they would have wanted. The BMW safety car has, of course, once more been deployed in this race. 55 minutes plus 1 lap of racing will be concurring within this race. And there, look, one of the Porsches, the 71 Porsche, the AED by Consulting car. That's Luke Hilden, who was starting second in Trophy Cup, is now last overall and last in Trophy Cup. And look, one of those, that was the Ferrari spearing to the right-hand side of the road. Left-hand side, that's the 181 Ferrari. Has had awful luck so far this weekend. Starting in the hands of William Davidson, the 181 Ferrari, unfortunately out of this race. So not a good start whatsoever. The Volante Rossi car, of course, of which was Ben Hunt, not getting a good start either. The Move My Wheels Mercedes continued to lead out in front, and the Ferrari speared off in the left-hand side of the circuit, made no contact with any barriers. But the reason why we've actually got the safety car out in this one is due to the Ben Hunt McLaren stopped on the right-hand side of the circuit down towards turn 4 at Honda Corner. So back towards safety car, and the BMW safety car lead the field around. So we've started lap 2 now. So next lap is when the drivers can choose to start making their compulsory pit stops that have to be done at some point throughout this race. So pit window is now open. Jaden Ojeda leads out in front. 5/10 the margin back to Evans, Leach, Feeney, Randall, Astuti, Target to Alberto, Gardner, Wood, Davidson, Hunt, Stokel, Yilden, and Buchan, who I think might unfortunately be out of this race in that 23 Ferrari, which is unfortunate. Luke Yilden has caught to the back of the train, has he? I don't think he has, so unfortunate there for Luke Yilden sitting down in position 14. 50 minutes remaining of racing still to come as we sit under the BMW safety car here at Phillip Island for the GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. If you take a look at the start once more, look, the red lights on in the top right hand of your screen, and a good start by the 66 Mercedes of Jaden Ojeda, who swooped right around the outside of Jackson Evans. They were side by side towards turn 1 they went, and good to see that really there was no contact between the top 4, and as I say that, yes, unfortunately there was contact. Well, there wasn't contact before turn 1, but when they got to turn 1, there was contact. So that was unfortunate, and then there you go. The Constantina effect of the McLaren spinning around, and Luke Hilden might have been involved in that. Look there, the Move My Wheels Mercedes swooping towards the lead, and there, look, a bit more contact, and that's the Ferrari, as I said, spearing off the road, the 181 Ferrari, of which is William Davidson. That car will be handed over to Rene Gracie, of course, once the pit stops get underway, the bronze-rated driver there. But that's unfortunate because that Ferrari was in a pretty good position. They were starting P4. They will probably have a bit of damage on the front end of that car, which will just sort of affect them, put them on the back foot for most of this race. So, safety car is in this lap here as we get ready to go back to green flag racing for the GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS GT Series, and Jaden Ojeda leads out in front over Evans, Leach, Feeney, Randall, Astuti, Target, D'Alberto, Stokel, Gardner, and both of the Trophy Cup cars a line astern. So watch out for that battle in the Trophy Cup class for that to continue to rage. And there, of course, look, is the 23 of Buchan in the Ferrari 296 GT3. But we're about to get back to green flag racing. And another 49 minutes. Hopefully we get green flag racing here as we make our way through now the final corner. And Jano Jada chooses when to put his foot to the floor, and he does so now. It's pedal to the metal, and it's go, 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 go for Jano Jada. Now, look the run down towards turn number 1. Evans following it behind as they use the toe all the way down the front straight to follow the car in front. Look there, to the inside goes, that is Brock Feeney. Looking on the inside of Brendan Leach in the 44 Mercedes car. Feeney might even look up the inside here, heading down into Southern Loop, turn 2. So far, so good, though. Jano Jada leads down in front. 3/10 the margin. Back to Evans, Leach, Feeney, Randall, Astuti, your top 6. Outside the top 6, Target, Alberto. And in the Trophy Cup class, Stokel in the Audi, in the 24 Audi, as Jano Jada leads out in front. Look there, up inside. Battle for 6th and 7th. Astuti and Target going at it for that battle. Car 2 and car 56. As the drivers can make their run out of Stoner Corner and towards now they will run into Honda Corner. On the exit of Honda Corner, they'll make their run up towards Siberia. 6, 7, 8, 9. Up towards Lukey Heights and then down towards into turn 10. 47 minutes to go left in this one. Hard on the brakes. The drivers will go towards turn 10. They run. All line astern there. Look, one of the Ferraris up the inside. That's Davidson on wood. So once more, William Davidson is going to have to do a bit of the dirty work to try and get through the field here. So we'll see how Davidson goes throughout the course of this race. But again, 47 minutes remaining plus that extra lap to be added by the end as the drivers file their way through the right hand up of turn number 1, Doohan Corner, then down towards Southern Loop. The drivers will go then through Stoner Corner and then Honda Corner at turn 4. Jano Jada 8/10 down in front over Evans, Leach, Feeney, Randall, Astuti just further back in position 6, and it's an Audi 456 at the moment. Look there, Brock Feeney all the way on the rear end of Brendan Leach. Very, very close between the two as they all run line astern towards now Lukey Heights. Exeter, Siberia, the drivers will go and will make their run up towards 7, 8, and 9. There, look, the guy Valmont 44 car. That's Brendan Leach being attacked at the moment by Brock Feeney. Have to, of course, think Brock Feeney unfortunate to miss out on the Repco Supercars Championship last year. Jano Jada is very much pulling away. Sort of just proving a bit of dominance early on in this race. 8/10 is the gap, but again, that margin can be quite easily destroyed. Again, you don't change tyres in the pit stop, so you don't really get that advantage of brand new Pirelli rubber. You have to protect it within the 50-minute window that you have of this race. As now the drivers make their run towards turn number 1. 9/10 the margin from Ojeda to Evans, back to Leach, back to Feeney, back to Randall, and of course back to Astuti in position 6. So Jaden Ojeda, good start in the Move My Wheels by Tagani Mercedes AMG team. Very good start and almost cleared away at the moment. 9/10 the margin. Now look, make their run through the right-hander. Once the pit stops start, the pit lane will get very, very busy indeed with pit stops and, of course, that compulsory hold time you have to be held in the pit lane for as we now hold and through. The drivers will go 10 minutes into this race already, and some of the fans watching behind the barriers there as they watch Jano Jada make their run through and up towards turn 9. Make their run towards Lukey Heights is now through 7, through 8, and out the other side. Just noticing here, Jackson Evans is definitely being pressured at the moment by Brendan Leach in position 3. He'll have Mercedes all in the rear end of that car, of that ARGT Ferrari. Will not be ideal at the best of times. As now, look, run through the right-hander of turn 12. The drivers will go, and using the curb on the exit is Jackson Evans. Here, look, one of the Audis. That is the 181 Ferrari and the 24 Audi making a bit of contact, the KFC livery card. So it's unfortunate. And Davidson again with the awful luck in round 1 this weekend so far. Awful luck. And that just seems to be continuing as they make their run through. And 43 minutes to go. Jada 1 second. The margin back to Evans, then back to Leach, then Feeney, then Randall and Astuti. As hard on the brakes the drivers will go. And looking just he looked for a move. Wasn't going to happen at time around. As they file their way through the run up towards Lukey Heights, they will go on the exit of Siberia. Sorry, that is turn 6. And once more, making their run through turn 7. So now the race is starting to settle into a bit of a rhythm. The driver's starting to find that rhythm. And sooner rather than later, you will be making pit stops within the next 10 minutes as well. So that just sort of changes the complexity of this race. Goes from a bit of a calmer race to it starts to just build a little bit. As here, look, D'Alberto in the Lamborghini making his run through. As trying to, at the moment, chase down Ben Hunt at the moment. And, off the roads. And that is the Aston Martin. And, well, actually, really, the only Aston Martin in the field, that is the Alex Gardner livery off the road down there. I think that's Siberia, on the exit of Siberia, turn 6 that car's gone off the road. So, keep you updated as to if and when that is the case. 42 minutes, 25 seconds to go. Look, late on the brakes goes Jada towards now. He will run turn 10 on the complex. Sorry, this is Honda corner, turn 4. Again, both corners, they do look very, very similar. Turn 4, turn 10. You do get that sort of mixed up variety. Stuti Wood, line astern here, there, look Wood. Right all over the back. Focused on Valentino Astuti because he really needs to try and get a good run through 7, through 8, and up towards Lukey Heights. Because if you can get that good run, you'll be in a good position to try and cover off at turn 10, the heavy braking zone, where you can easily make a move. We did see yesterday the Castrol entry making contact with Ryan Woods. So we did see that yesterday. Put Thomas Randall's team on the back foot for most of the weekend. Here we're focused now on Ryan Woods. He's currently in this battle, as I said a few moments ago, with Valentino Astuti in position 7. Currently focused and got his guns locked on the rear end of that Audi. So 2 manufacturers battling for position, battling for rights on road, on the track. As now they make the run towards turn 2, Southern Loop on the exit, putting the power down. Shoving the car gears on the exit. Making you run through and once more putting the power down on the exit of Stoner Corner. Here, this Stoner Corner. Practically all this circuit is flat. You've got the whole entire circuit flat. As now, look there, Ryan Wood up the inside, looking for a move. Does he get the power down early enough? No, he doesn't. Using the ripple strip on the outside to try and get the car just balanced out in a good way. 40 minutes to go. 15 minutes gone already throughout this race. It's been quite a hectic one. Jada Evans, 1.5 seconds. 6/10 back is Leach. And 4/10 back is Feeney, Randall, Target, Astuti, and Wood. That's the battle we're currently focused on at the moment. Now, the drop towards and in towards Honda corner. And out the other side. Sorry, that's not Honda corner. That's turn 10. On the exit now. Putting the power down and run towards the line. As we've now ticked over the 40-minute mark and we're starting to ease down into a rhythm. The drivers have eased into a rhythm into this race, and we'll start to see some of the pit stops play a factor very soon, which will be add a bit of spice to this race. Let me tell you that much. Jada Evans, 1.7 seconds. But at the moment, the battle we're focused on is Astuti Wood, P7, P8, D'Alberto, P9, closing ever so slightly in behind in that Lamborghini Huracan GT3. Closing as they continue to Drop towards and up the inside. There go. Look. Ryan Woods using the curb on the inside and squeezing Astuti to the outside of the circuit. Cameras are just sort of cut away there for a minute. But there, look, that is move done. Ryan Wood up into position 7. But in the process has actually left quite a big margin to Oscar Targa in position 6 in the 56 Mercedes. The Challange AMG by Tagani Motorsport car up in position 6 and has got about 3 seconds of a margin to make up to try and close that gap ever so slightly. The move by wheels by Tagani Motorsport. Jaden Ojeda making his run round to the final corner. Turn 12 now. Look as Jackson Evans making his run down the front straight. 38 minutes to go. Run down the front straight. The drivers will go. And what a race this has been so far. Safety car already and loads of just sort of waiting, seeing what will happen when, of course, come pit stop time. There, look, Evans once more. Trying to keep a hold on the car, making the run through the right-hander. Deep under brakes. And Feeney right on the tail end of Brendan Leach. Right on the tail ends, they will go. And down towards now, turn 10. And making their way out the other sides. What a race this has been so far. Jaden Ojeda, Evans, Leach, Feeney, your top 4 in this one. But 2 seconds the margin. Ojeda to Evans. So Ojeda continues to pull a margin at the moment. 2 seconds the margin. Back to Evans, then Leach. So this is a battle that's starting to form just a little bit. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. This battle is for. So keep a close eye on that as we make our run towards now turn 1, Doohan corner. We've seen in race 1 so far, you do not go side by side through turn 1, or you ultimately die. You do not make it through turn 1 without making contact. Contact is almost likely in that situation if you do go side by side through. There is once more racing at the beautiful Phillip Island circuit for round 1 of the GT World Challenge Australia. Of course, the next round just a week away. So it's a short turnaround between rounds. GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. Less than a week to go until we head to the Ben Motorsport Park in Victoria. Should be fun. Of course, same with Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge as well. Look, Jackson Evans here, very much getting pressured by Brendan Leach. Up towards Lukey Heights in the drop down, and you can see there the Mercedes moving under braking, nearly spat the car out and spun it sideways as well. In behind, of course, Brock Feeney. This is battle 2nd, 3rd, 4th. And would soon now be starting to think of pit stops some of the teams. And look now, through turn 12, the drivers will go. And making their run through down towards turn number 1, 34 minutes to go. Who will bite the bullet first? Who will take the first compulsory pit stop within this race? The only compulsory pit stop, must I say, throughout this race. Who will bite that bullet? Who will take it first? And who will jump the gun? That is the big question. 33 minutes to go. Next weekend, of course, another packed weekend of sport, as I said, GT World Challenge Australia. Sorry, not next weekend, the weekend after. But next weekend it will be the Italian F4 Championship with 3 races there. The weekend after, GT World Challenge Australia returns. And, of course, Freca returns that weekend as well. So another big weekend of streaming with a 2-race weekend for the Formula Regional European Championship. And then the week after that is another Freca round, which should be very interesting as well. You got to think as well, that weekend you've also got Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge. So a lot of commentary from myself and plenty more sporting action still to come. Right here on Travis Motorsports, 32 minutes and 50 seconds to go. 2.9 seconds as they make their run through now towards turn 12 and out towards turn 1. The drivers will go once more. 32 minutes, 42 seconds remaining on the clock. Jaden Ojeda continuing to pull out in front. 3.3 seconds the gap. Back to Evans, then Leach, Feeney, Randall, Target, Wood, Astuti in position 8. And last time we saw Wood was all over the back of Astuti. Of course, got by. Now the margin is 7 seconds. So the field is starting to spread out. Ojeda controlling the pace of the race in a very mannerly fashion, which is indeed what we like to see. It'll be a very short turnaround, probably a minute or two between this race and, of course, Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge, race 3, practically coming up straight after this. So should be fun to watch. And now look, man, they run through. This is Jaden Ojeda. Out towards turn 12 and down the Gardner Straight he will go. There he is, just up in front. Leach applying the pressure to the back of Brendan Lee towards turn 10. Now they will go. And applying the power again will Leach. Half a second the margin. So the thing is with Leach, he's just not been able to get close enough to really pull on attack. If he was close enough, he probably would have pulled an attack by now, but just hasn't gotten close enough. And that's sort of been the point of the weekend. When you sit in behind the dirty air of the car in front, you just struggle to get by. That dirty air kills your front Pirelli tyres. And when that happens, you just have no front grip whatsoever. And you tend to struggle quite a bit. So that struggle will be wanting to be relieved at some point, I could only guess, as their look late on the brakes goes Leach as he tries to once more pull a move. Didn't look up the inside then, but he definitely got close. It was definitely close, let me tell you that much. Guy by Valmont Mercedes has just been sitting in behind, and he's in the process. I think he's just sort of backed out in the last couple of laps because he knows he's just going to get that turbulent air, and the more turbulent air that goes up in between the car, the hotter the engine gets, the hotter everything gets, the hotter the tyres get, the hotter the brake discs get, and it just gets awful. And in that process, you get a lot of understeer. I mean, the brakes get too hot, they tend to fail, and it's not a good thing, especially in a GT3 car. Especially in a GT3 car. As we see first pit stops now going on. Sort of past that 30-minute window as well. So, interesting to see. And that is Gardner making his first pit stop in this race. His first and only pit stop throughout this race. The first of pit stops being done. Alex Gardner, second in Trophy Cup. He won't lose third. Because Luke Hilden, of course, out of this race. So, practically last at the moment. At the moment, leading in the Trophy Cup is Stokel in the 24 Audi, and will be setting off in just a few moments' time. Once, of course, the compulsory time has been completed. There you go. So, setting off once more goes Stokel, and has now officially completed his first pit stop in this one. So, Jaden Ojeda leading out in front, and his goals in this race, to be honest, would have just been in this stint just to try and maintain a gap, 3 or 4 seconds. It just sort of puts you in a good position here. As here, look, more pit stops going on. Tyre pressures being bled. Some drivers deciding to change tyres. Some rear tyres going on the rear end of the 24 KFC car. And, of course, that's currently sits first in class, in the trophy class. So, will lose the lead. And, of course, doesn't want to get undercut because I think the 14 Aston Martin put tyres on it. So, that's an interesting choice there. So, tyres deciding to be done. And rear tyres on the car. We will see how this pit stop plays. Now, driver change happening. 28 minutes remaining, 4 seconds. The margin Ojeda to Evans. Pit stop complete. Now you just have to wait for that time to be descended. once that time has been finished. And there you go. Releases the brakes and can now put pedal to the metal. Meanwhile, up the inside there, look, Brock Feeney round the outside. As we were focused on that pit stop, Brock Feeney switch back side by side. They will go. The two, Leach, Feeney, Leach squeezes Feeney to the outside of the circuit where you do not want to be, where all the bits of rubber that have built up throughout the race. Feeney way up the curb and off the road into the grass, spitting up dirt in the process. So, bit of a problem there for Feeney. And now it's brought Thomas Randall right back into this. So, not saying that Thomas Randall wasn't in this battle, but he's been brought into it. It's battle second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. No, not sixth, because Oscar Target's 4 seconds back. So, no issue for him. But, of course, now driver changes going on. Driver changes, of course, being completed as well. 26 minutes, 48 seconds to go. 4.7 seconds the gap, Ojeda to Evans. So very, very good first half of this race, to be completely honest with you. We're about to hit the halfway mark of this race as well. So, be interesting to see how that plays out for the drivers. As here, look, make their way around the circuit. 26 minutes and 25 seconds to go left in this race. As hard on the brakes goes the 26 Ferrari. Down towards now Honda corner and out the other side. So this is now heading into Southern Loop. Sorry, this is turn 6. So Siberia, on the exit of Siberia, the drivers will go and continue to make their way around. So, pit stops will soon be completed by some of the big guns. Of course, the 66 Mercedes still, of course, has to take its pit stop. Practically everybody, except for the trophy cars, have made a pit stop. Everybody except, Stupas and Stibbs, the 24 and 14, the Audi and the Mercedes in the trophy class cars are the only 2 cars that have made their pit stop so far. And that will be officially completed. As now they make their run towards what will be turn number 1. As there you go, look, the 44 Mercedes. First real attack he's had on him in quite a while, if I'm being completely honest with you. Second, third, fourth. They run. It's actually really, that's the first attack. The big sideways moment there from Brock Feeney as he kills those rear Pirelli tyres. Big sideways moment then. He was actually lucky not to send it off into the wall, if I'm being completely honest with you. Feeney will just be keeping a cool head at this point. Trying not to let that stop him. There, look, the 88 into the pit lane. That's Ryan Wood hopping out of the car. So Ryan Wood hopping out as... so Ryan Wood hops out of that car and we'll hand it over to Steve Brooks in the 88 as well. So Steve Brooks hops in. Tyre pressures checked. Possibly tyres changed if need be. If you feel like you need to. If the tyres feel like they're falling away a bit earlier than what you probably would have expected, you can change tyres if you need. But now, look, top 4 coming into the pit lane and contact within the pit lane. There, nearly, and the Mercedes was right up the rear bumper of the Ferrari. Nearly made contact. There, look, everybody now files into the pit lane. Look at this. As we were watching the pit stop, the Mercedes, the 44 Mercedes, bang, into the rear end of the Ferrari. And that was controversial. Because he's lucky he didn't make bigger contact. Otherwise, that would have definitely been a penalty. Castrol entry in. This Thomas Randall, he will be handing over. He'll be handing that car over in just a few moments' time. Getting out is Thomas Randall of that car. Getting out. There, look. Astuti also getting out of that car. We'll be handing that car over as well. So Astuti hands that car over to Darren Curry. In position 5, there is the 268. So we're handing that car over to Alex Peroni. So Tom Randall getting out. Alex Peroni will get in. Mark Ross, of course, not competing this weekend. So Tom Randall in that car for this weekend. Alex Peroni gets in. And we will now see the race. And there's Paul Lucchini, who comes out in the lead of the race. So good pit stop there from the 66 crew. And it's actually probably a bit of a bigger margin than what we were expecting. Was there a problem for the Team MPC car? From Valentino Astuti, who jumps in. Dean Curry jumps into that car. So Valentino Astuti jumps out. Dean Curry jumps in. And now the last 20 minutes will be enthralling battling to the end. 3.5 seconds. The margin Evans to Lucchini. Lucchini leads out in front at the moment in that Mercedes. We've got some enthralling battles still to come. Was there a problem with the Shane Smallin 56 Mercedes in the pit lane? Because we did see the Guy Valmont car close right up onto the back. But again, that doesn't mean anything if you don't have a good pit stop. And a car that did not have a good pit stop was the number 1 Audi. The number 1 Audi's lost 2 spots, so they did not have a good pit stop. It was a slow stop. Was it with a driver change or was it with a tyre? Because again, you can change tyres. My thoughts were wrong. But the number 1 Audi did not have a good stop. They've lost out to the 268 Audi, the 56 Mercedes, and the 88 Audi, which is now has Tim Brooks on board. So this is going to be a real struggle. And now with all bronze drivers in the car, possibly some slower lap times being shown. Paul Lucchini has pulled a margin 5.3 seconds. Was there a problem here for Evans? Because that's a big margin to pull in one lap. 5.3 seconds the gap. Brooks Smolin having a battle. And Brooks got by. So, see what happens there between those two. But, wow. That is absolutely huge. 5.3 seconds there. Look, the guy at Valmont 44 Mercedes up the inside. Will the Ferrari close the door? He's left him just enough room and laid on the brakes, and the Mercedes gets through. So good move there. And that's finally, after probably what have been 20 minutes of just sitting in behind, that Mercedes finally gets some clear air in the hands of Pierres. Sergio Pierres in a very good position. Now, and does this Mercedes possibly have a bit more pace than his fellow countryman, Paul Lucchini, of course the Frenchman, racing in GT World Challenge Australia this year, in the 66, being, of course, shared by Jaden Ojeda. As here we see the drivers make their run through, 19.5 minutes to go, and immediately starting to pull away now, so the 26 Ferrari maybe with an issue. Possibly. And how shocking would that be? It'd be awful. But yeah, Paul Lucchini definitely has pace. He has got a whole crap ton of pace. You'd see him there off in the distance as he starts to pull away. Racing at this beautiful Phillip Island circuit. It's an amazing circuit to race at. 19 minutes to go. Loved this circuit. Of course, back in the day when supercars raced here, back in 2018. Don't think supercars have raced here in a couple of years, so be good to see supercars get this track back on the calendar. Be an amazing ground to go to. Here, look, the leader in Trophy Cup by 14 seconds back to Stibbs. So very good, very, very good stint from the 24 team. Of course, before in that car, it was Paul Stokel, and now Matthew Stupas has jumped into that car. And then, of course, the 14 car, which had Alex Gardner, has now handed over to Lee Stibbs in position 2 in the Trophy Cup class. So I think that has been confirmed. 14 seconds, the gap overall. And actually, the 14 car is not too far away from being lapped. The leader is coming around turn 1 now. So about 10 seconds off. There is the leader making his way around turn 1. The Trophy Cup car, 14, is making its way up into Stoner Corner now. So there's the leader. And Stibbs making his way up towards Honda Corner. So that's the margin that Stibbs has to play with before, of course, he does get lapped. And it would be inevitable at this point, more or less. And there's Ross up in the 268 Castrol. Audi, just got to think back to 24 hours ago when this car ended up with a bit of contact being made by one of the Ferraris, I think it was. It was a manufacturer Audi team. So normally when you make contact with the same manufacturer, it's normally not a good thing. It's not something you want to have under your rear belt. Let me tell you that much. As there we see Rosser making his run up towards turn 10. There is the 88 Audi of Tim Brooks, just over 10 seconds the margin he has back to Rosser. But it's a small margin back to Smolin, who at the moment, yes, he's a bronze-rated driver, but he's also got a lot of pace at the moment. Then we look at the Castrol Audi, making his run through the right-hander, 16 minutes and 25 seconds remaining. There's Tom Randall looking at some of the data from his stint where he probably could have improved, where he probably couldn't have. But again, you don't get back in the car. So, good first stint, to be completely honest with you, from Tom Randall. Just sort of kept the laps going, kept it flowing, kept it going, and just sort of didn't let mistakes creep in, because that is probably the worst feeling as a racing driver, to have a mistake creep in. 15 minutes and 50 seconds to go left in this race, and confirmation, the 24 Aston Martin has indeed gotten lapped, so the margin now is 17 seconds. So I reckon Lee Stibbs has got this under control, will win in trophy class, if I'm being completely honest with you. The only thing that I reckon could probably stop the 14 Aston Martin is if he made a mistake. At the moment, though, looking up and down the timing screens, I've just seen a position swap for last in the Pro-Am Cup, which is Emery and Dietz. They're going Hammer and Tong. I think it was a move done actually down into Honda Corner. So a very good move down towards Honda Corner, turn 4. There's our race leader making his way around the final corner. And there is Pierre's as well. So good round for the manufacturers of Audi and Mercedes. Of course, the number 1 Audi, the reigning champions of GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS, won yesterday's race. But of course, the balance of performance, the BAP effect sort of just kicked in. So with a race win under their belts, is that a slow 24? It is. So the second place car, the only other Trophy Cup car in class, is now slow. And to put a lap on... There you go. So he's just put a whole lap. So Stupas has just been lapped. So he must have been slow for a whole lap then. But yeah, he's very slow at the moment. Stupas making his run down towards Honda Corner. He's slow. So, of course, engineers will be letting people know of that. As we watch Stupas extremely slowly. Wonder what that issue could possibly be for that car, which would be quite unfortunate as well. 13.5 minutes to go. Still a chunk of this race remaining. Here is Tony D'Alberto on screen. And just has been taken over by Dietz. And he's also just been overtaken as well by Jeff Emery, who is a very successful in his own right, a very successful Touring Car Masters racer. So in his own right there. But that McLaren has made its way through the field. As he tries, that McLaren tries, and I say this, tries to make some sort of effect in this race. And unfortunately, the only other car in the trophy class pulls into pit lane. So the 24 out of the race, and that gives Lee Stibbs a free win in the Trophy Cup class. With about 7 laps to go in this race. So we'll see how this race unfolds. And there's Paul Lucchini, he's driven so perfectly this race. His teammate as well, driven so perfectly by Jada. Drove it all the way to this point, well, the point of which pit stops were made. He pulled in the pit lane. We didn't even know he pulled into the pit lane until 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th pulled in. That's just how far ahead he was. And unfortunately, I think the 24 car, as they try and fix whatever issue could be in that car, could be a technical gremlin or something. See there, that's unfortunate. Matt Stupas in his stint, unfortunately, out of this race. So there you go. Paul Lucchini now will just be trying to keep a calm head in the last 11.5 minutes to go, trying not to make a mistake. Will be probably the most important part of this race. Trying not to make a mistake within the last 11.5 minutes. And what could really ruin this, and the only thing, I say this, and the only thing that can really ruin this around, and that is the 56 Mercedes, and off into the gravel for the 3rd time this weekend. What has happened to the 56? And he's made contact with the race-winning car yesterday of Brad Schumacher. Contacted around 56. Now, I blame that on Schumacher because that was the last car I saw, and he was spinning in front of the Audi as well. So that is the only... Yeah, he's made contact. Definitely contact was made. Brad Schumacher turning around the Challange 56 Mercedes AMG, spearing it into the gravel. Lucky actually not to hit the Armco as well. But safety car deployed, and my God, a commentator's curse cannot get any worse. And it even rhymes. Wow. So this just changes the complex of this race completely on its head. It's changed this race completely on its head. 56 Mercedes off and into the gravel. That is unfortunate. And it's very unfortunate, and it's not for the first time this weekend as well. So Paul Lucchini, who, by the way, I said had a flippin' good chance of winning this race, and it was more or less 100% chance that he was going to win this race. He kept the pace he was going. But it's been ruined. It's been ruined by a safety car, BMW safety car. You can see there the Raptor recovery crew doing an amazing job to try, and I say this, try to recover that car. It's the 3rd time this weekend that car's been in the gravel, so that's unfortunate. Yeah, but now the field gets bunched back up, and it was definitely contact with the number 1 Audi that speared that car off into the gravel. Very unfortunate there. So, of course, that car ended up in the gravel in qualifying on yesterday in qualifying. Then ended up in the gravel at the end of race 1, and then here at the end of race 2. So it just can't seem to get any worse. And now he'll dump a bunch of gravel, hopefully off the racing line. And look at the gravel pouring out of the rear end of that car. He doesn't want to get too far offline because it is extremely dirty too far offline, and he dumps about 30 kilos of gravel onto the racing line. That's just perfect. That's exactly what you want. So there will most likely be a slippery surface flag down there. The car's making them run through Honda corner. So my prediction would be is that there would be a slippery surface flag as they make their run down towards turn 10 for the first, as they make their run down towards Honda corner. Now, I think that was running towards on the exit of Siberia. Contact was made, and unfortunately, that's just sort of sent Shane Smolin around. So there is the 24 Audi. I think they're planning on getting that car or trying to get that car back out there. They have completed more than 75% of this. I'd say probably 68% of this race was complete. So, of course, you can only score points if you've completed 75% of the race. Has that been done? I probably wouldn't say yes. It'd be very, very unlikely that that car has completed 75%. As now we look through the field, Paul Cheney leads out in front over Pierre's Shoot, Rosser, Brooks, Schumacher, Curry, Campbell, Emery, Dietz, and Stibbs, who will, and I say this, he will win in the trophy class and has gained an extra position because Shane Smolin, as I said, ended up in the gravel. So he'll finish 11th overall and first in the trophy class. And that will be the second consecutive win of the weekend. And the closest that anybody got to these dibs was Luke Hilden. And that was in qualifying. So that just sort of puts a bit of a question mark as to maybe the trophy class might be dominated by the 14 Aston Martin. That just seems... I don't think it's pace. I think it's genuine luck. Let's put that car in that position. Let's put him in the right position at the right time, at the right place, at the right moment. And that's all you need. Safety car pulls away, and we will get some exciting 4 minutes, 55 seconds. This is the definition of GT World Challenge Australia powered by AWS. And we're about to see it right here, right now. BMW M safety car pulls away, and towards pit lane he will go. Pollicini, can he pull a margin? Pierre's will not let him do that. Is there any thoughts on the mind of Pollicini that he will get overtaken? I'm sure there's at least one thought on the mind of Pollicini. But for the second time, when does Pollicini put pedal to the metal? And he does so. Pollicini, pedal to the metal, and it's go, 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 go for the second time for GT World Challenge Australia powered by AWS. And he actually caught Pierre's off guard. We're green here for GT World Challenge Australia. It was a good restart from Pollicini. Meanwhile, look up the inside goes the Brad Schumacher Audi. Looking up the inside of that is Tom Brooks. Not able to get that move done. Cars now run towards Stoner corner, up towards Honda corner they will go. 3.5 minutes to go. About 2 or 3 laps of racing we will get. I have to be careful down here at turn 10. A whole crap ton of gravel practically on the racing line, and that will clear within the next 2 or 3 laps. Yeah, it certainly will. As there you see the Castrol livery. There's Brad Schumacher with the BOP, the Bouncer Performance car that won yesterday's race. Pollicini will, of course, get that BOP if, of course, he does win this race. But he's starting to now pull away again, which is a bit creepy because I say it's creepy because he already had a 6-second margin. Can he pull 6 seconds again? I would think most not likely. 3-4 laps to go left in this one. Last time out it was 5 laps. We now crossed the line. It's now 4 laps. There is the 88 Audi as Brad Schumacher tries to apply as much pressure as humanly possible. Look at the gravel on the outside of the road down there. Just off the rubber as well. So if you get offline, it will be very, very treacherous for anybody that steps offline throughout this race. There's Shoot in position 3. So it's now calming down once more. 1 minute 30 seconds remaining. About 2 laps of racing still to go. Shoot, there he is in position 3. Just holding position. Not a bad idea. Look there up inside. Rosser pulled out of it. Smart idea. Of course, for the podium positions. So Very spicy indeed. This will get 2 to go this time around. The GT World Challenge Australia powered by AWS. A hectic race this has been. Absolutely hectic. 2 to go. GT World Challenge Australia powered by AWS. 2 laps to go left in this one. Chute being pressured by Rosser. Towards the left hand of the drivers will go. Applying the throttle. Brad Schumacher now. Putting the pressure on Brooks as he tries to get 5th position. Under brakes once more towards Honda corner. And off the road, the Challange 56 Mercedes off the road again. Not in the gravel, but into the grass. Just as worse, to be completely honest with you. Now, out towards on the exit of Siberia. Now run towards 7, 8. And then you'll make your run towards Lukey Heights. Next time around, it'll be 1 to go. The clock ticks to 0, and we're now into overtime. There, look, Schumacher around the outsides. Not going to happen. On the exit of turn 10. And up through Lukey Heights. Through turn 11, through turn 12. And for the final time this weekend, the final lap board is shown. 1 to go. Left in GT World Challenge Australia. Brad Schumacher putting all the pressure he needs onto the back of Tim Brooks. Up the inside there, look. Side by side they will go. Brad Schumacher squeezes. Oh, Brooks nearly closed the door. And that was close. Brad Schumacher, though, nearly had the door closed on him as he made his run up towards. And there you go. Look, the Castro Audi up the inside, way up the curb, and contact. Big contact with a guy of Valmont Mercedes. Contact. It was a big, audacious move. But the Castro Audi contact with the guy of Valmont Mercedes. And off the road. It was a big send. It was a hella big send into turn 4. Wow. So big send up towards into Honda corner. We'll get a replay of that in a minute. Into Honda corner the drivers went. And Tim Brooks went in way too hot. Oh, sorry, the 268 Audi, way too hot. Smacked Piers. And he's out of this race. But the man who isn't, the man who's just drove so perfectly, Paul Luccini, takes the win in race 2 of GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. What a weekend this has been for Paul Luccini, putting on a masterclass drive. Pierre's out of this race. Unfortunate. Winning in trophy class is Stibbs. That is very unfortunate. The guy of Valmont Mercedes had nothing to do with any of what was going on behind him. And he's been caught up in something that wasn't even his fault. Let's take a look at this again. 268 Audi. Late on the brakes. Way up the curb. Bang. Smack into the right front of the guy of Valmont Mercedes. And, well, at that point, he was taking evasive action. Tried to turn away from the guy of Valmont Mercedes. And I'm sure this reaction won't be very good. Nope. Caught in something that wasn't his fault. And that is racing. Won't be very happy. So, the results of what was a very hectic end to GT World Challenge Australia. The drivers now make their run around and back to pit road. Wow. What a race. Oh, what a race that was. The GT World Challenge Australia. If that's what we're expecting in 2 weeks' time, to continue on at the bend, we've got something good to show you. Move My Wheels by Tigani Motorsport, Mercedes, followed by the ART GT, Ferrari, the Audi in 3rd, another Audi in 4th, and the race 1 winners of Brad Schumacher. And that in position 3 now. So they've just bagged themselves a podium. So after all that, a podium being given to Brock Feeney and Brad Schumacher. Winning in the trophy class with the Volante Rossi Motorsport Gardner and Stibbs car in position 10. Wow, what a race that was. Brock Feeney, Brad Schumacher, in the end, bagged himself another podium. I go from gold medal to bronze medal, which, to be honest, it's not a bad result. And that is a very unfortunate. Pierres was not caught up in any drama this race, to be completely honest with you. He got by the Ferrari that was in front of him. Almost a perfect race up until then. And deep under brakes. And the 268 Audi could not get it stopped. Could not get the car stopped. The ABS was probably blowing up at him saying, well, you're about to hit someone. And he's hit someone. And unfortunately, that was the guy Valmont Mercedes. And unfortunately, would end up out of the race. So that is it for GT World Challenge Australia. And we're now going to move on to Porsche Sprint Challenge. The Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge Australia, which is in a couple of minutes' time. But yeah, that is it for GT World Challenge Australia. What a race. And it's won by the guy of Valmont Mercedes. The 66 Move My Wheels by Tigani Motorsport. Jano Jada and Paul Cini take gold here at Phillip Island. Until 2 weeks' time, it is bye-bye.